Afternoon, everybody. I, Dr. Vivek Srivastav, Associate Professor, School of Pharmacy, welcomes all of you.
Vivek, voice is not coming.
Yes, sir.
Sir, please wait. We are calling to him.
I think he's facing some network issue. Yes, sir.
So, I'm sorry, and in fact, there was some network issue. And, sorry for the interruption. So, once again, a very good afternoon to everybody. And Honorable Dr. M.N. Patel, sir, Provost, Parul University, respected Dr. Abhay Dharamsi, sir, Dean, Faculty of Pharmacy and Principal, Parul Institute of Pharmacy, respected Dr. Vandana Patel, Madam, Professor and Dean, Doctoral Studies and Research, Dr. G. Chakravarti, Principal, Parul Institute of Pharmacy and Research, Dr. Lalit Lata Jha, Madam, Principal, School of Pharmacy, and my co-faculty members. Let us welcome Mr. Sushil Barkur, Associate Vice President, Alkem Laboratories, who is the speaker for the webinar. And in fact, a student, he has got a dream, he has got certain ambitions when he comes to the college. And he has a strong belief that once he obtained his degree from the university and he go for the job, just merely obtaining a degree will get him his dream job. But getting a dream job, it requires other critical factors also, apart from obtaining a degree. And he haven't have a test of the working world at that time. So his transition from campus to corporates becomes very difficult. And literally they have no idea that what are those sorts of skills which is required. So this webinar is an attempt to make the students aware that what are those skill sets which are required when the transition from the campus to corporate occurs. And we are very fortunate today that we are having with us Mr. Sushil Barkur, sir. He is an expert award winning teacher. And Mr. Sushil Barkur, sir, is an expert in creating and executing result-oriented L&D, TM, and OD strategy to support overall business strategy and business growth. He has 20 years of learning experience. He has proven expertise in setting up and running training, learning, and development departments in large pharmaceutical companies. Currently, he is working as Associate Vice President, L&D, TM, and OD functions for Alkem Laboratories. He has received top 100 training and development minds at the recently conducted World HRD Congress. He is adept in using technology in learning and development space. He has trained and coached people across Indian subcontinent and Africa. He is passionate about enabling people to excel in their personal and professional lives. Mr. Sushil Barkur is an M.Pharm, PG, CHRM from XLRI, ICF certified coach, certified psychometrician, certified accelerated learning designer and facilitator, certified in Dr. Jack Philippe ROI model for L&D, certified facilitator of 7 habits of highly effective people, neuro-linguistic practitioner, master practitioner from American Board of NLP, member of International Association of Facilitator and Association of Talent Development. So he's the right person to learn from so far as the transition from the campus to corporate is concerned. So before I welcome sir and I request him for his deliberations, let me tell the participants that we will also be having a question answer session at the end of this webinar, and you can post your questions on WhatsApp number 98272468119, or you can type comment in your Facebook page. So that questions I will take up at the end of the session. And this webinar is you can also stream this webinar live on the PU webinar Facebook page. So with this, I request Sushil sir to please give his deliberation, sir. Please welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vivek, for nice introduction. And good afternoon to all the respected and dignified teaching faculty of Parul University. And good afternoon to all the students who are listening to this webinar. And it is my privilege to interact with all of you. And my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Vivek Srivastava for organizing this. Dear friends who all are listening to this, in fact, we all get some kind of... Am I audible, Vivek? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Yeah. Please give me an indication when my voice goes low. Right?
Okay, sir.
So good afternoon once again to all of you. In fact, dear students, that in every student's life, especially when he is graduating from college, isn't it? He starts looking into the thing that what kind of job he is going to get. And many a times, Vivek, can I request you to please mute all the people?
Okay, okay, sir.
Correct. So as rightly said by Dr. Vivek, that this webinar is all about that preparing ourselves for the real world. And Dr. Vivek has used a very nice word, that is the campus to corporate. And I have planned my deliberation, correct, by covering this 4 or 5 points in the agenda, where I would like to start with the first thing, that is a story which is very near to my heart. And many of you might have heard about this story, the scholar and the boatman. See, many years back, there was a boatman who was earning his livelihood by ferrying people from one bank of the river to the another bank of the river. And the river was quite wide. So one day, one scholar came to the boatman early in the morning and he said, can you take me to the other side of the river bank? Right. So, and the journey was quite long. It was around 40-45 minutes. Right. So once this boatman started ferrying the scholar, in the middle of the river, the scholar started asking the boatman, do you know that why the sun rises from the east and why it sets in the west? The boatman was puzzled by this question from a scholar and he said, sir, I am mere a boatman. I do not know why this happens. Then the boatman when the scholar tells him that 25% of your life is wasted because you do not know the science behind the nature. After listening to this, the boatman got a little bit puzzled, but he said maybe he is a scholar, whatever he is saying, he is correct. After going some more strides, the scholar asked him again, do you know that what kind of the river navigation system is being developed in the world? The boatman once again showed his ignorance and he said, sir, I do not know. Then the scholar said, 50% of your life is wasted because neither you know the science behind the nature and you even do not know the navigation system in the river. After some time, what happened, that entire environment started changing and there was dark clouds and a lot of, you can say, waves started coming to the river. And the boat was almost, you can say, in a shape where it started tumbling. Then boatman has asked the scholar that, scholar, do you know how to swim? Then the scholar said, no, I do not know how to swim. Then the boatman answered him, then professor and the scholar, your 100% life is wasted because you do not know how to swim. This story becomes very relevant, isn't it, when we start moving from our college to the corporate world. Because in the college and other areas, we learn a lot about the academic things. And during those time when we are spending in gaining the academic knowledge, we forget to work upon the softer skill part of our life. And I tell you, dear friends, that softer skill is one of the most important thing which will sail you through into the corporate world. Now, we should not have a situation like boatman and the scholar. Just another point I want to bring in, a scholar along with his knowledge, if you could have been knowing how to swim, a very small life-saving skill, isn't it? He could not have got perturbed in the turbulent waves or the turbulence of the river because he could be able to save himself. And that is the reason, dear friend, in this session, we are going to talk about that how an holistic development of a person should take place. It is not only the academic, it has to be the another aspect of which we generally call as a social skill has to be also there. Now with this story, I am sure that you must have gotten that only social skill may not help us, just like in boatman, because he was having a lot of, you can say, life-saving or the social skills, but he did not know about the knowledge behind those skills. His life is also not very good because he was unable to earn well. Likewise, for a scholar, he was very good in the knowledge part, but he was very poor in the life-saving skills. So his life is also not up to the mark. Now, to make those parts together, we will discuss in this presentation that how to become a holistic person. Now, before moving forward, let us look into that how the Indian pharma industry for which you are preparing looks like. Here I am showing you that since 2005 to 2020, how the transition of US pharma industry has taken place. In 2005, the pharma industry size was almost $6 billion. When I'm saying $6 billion, correct, it is roughly around, you can say that roughly around here 30,000 crores rupees, right? But now from 2005 to 2020, it has gone up to around $55 billion, isn't it? Now, when $55 billion, when I'm saying this, dear friends, it will come around 350,000 crore, which includes the exports as well. It means that the industry is growing at a healthy rate of 9.8% on year-to-year basis. Now, what does this statistics means to you as a student? That you are preparing yourself for an industry which is growing every year, year after year, decade after decade. And in fact, one thing, correct, which we need to all proud of, that India is known as world's pharmacy because India ranks 3rd worldwide for the production by volume, 10th by value, thereby accounting for around 10% of total world's population of pharmaceuticals by volume and 1.5% by value. So scope is immense. When you go further, this is the point, correct, when we are talking about the past and the present part of the Indian pharma industry. Now let us see that how the future looks like in the next 10 years of Indian pharma industry. All the business analysts, they predict that pharma industry by 2030 is going to be a $130 billion industry, because you can easily see here it is $55 billion, correct, which we are talking about here in the year 2020, which is finishing now, 2021, right? And from $55 billion in the next 10 years, it will become $130 billion with a growth rate of around 11 to 12%. It means a lot of job opportunities are going to come. But the question is, when the opportunity is there, are we as students prepared to grab that opportunity? And what kind of the opportunities which are in front of us? Because we are in a sunrise sector and pharma industry directly or indirectly employs around 5 lakh people. And if you look into the pharma industry, it is least impacted by the recessions and the COVID pandemic situation. In fact, COVID pandemic is the recent one, and you must be reading a lot of newspapers where you will be seeing that pharma industry is only industry which has actually grown over a period of time of this 1 year of pandemic. Apart from this, if you are interested in knowing that in 2001, correct, there was internet bubble which busted, which lead to the economic recession. In 2008, once again, the second economic recession had taken place, and recently now COVID pandemic. In all these three recession situations, correct, pharma industry was the only industry which was growing. And that is why it is said, pharma industry is an evergreen sector. No matter whatever will happen to the world, the need for medicine is going to be there as long as even a single human being is alive. And pharma industry is having a very robust business model, very well supported by the government. In fact, some of you, correct, who are in your final year of pharmacy, right, who must be very interested in that what has happened during the pandemic time to the pharma industry. In the first quarter of pandemic, that was April 2020 to your June 2020, there was a lot of dearth of active pharmaceutical ingredient which India generally imports from China. And that is the time the price of medicine has started increasing. But government has decided that we should not depend upon China. We should develop our own APIs in India. So government is coming with a lot of schemes. I hope that you are able to connect with me. Please let me understand that if language is a challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So till now, dear students, we have seen that we are into an industry, correct, which is evergreen. Second part, which was the initial part of the story, that becoming an holistic person, we need to look at the knowledge aspect. At the same time, we have to look at the skill aspect. Going further, if you see, these are the employment opportunities, correct? These are very indicative. There can be a lot of, you can say, depth into this when you will sit with your job counselors, when you will meet various, you can see the various campus companies will come to you. You will come to know more about it. But overall level, if you see, there is an opportunity of employment in research and development, in manufacturing, in sales and marketing. You can work as a pharmacist also. There is a lot of opportunity in the other side of the production, that is the corporate aspect. You can become your own entrepreneur also. You can start your own venture. And there are certain jobs which are available by the government, like drug inspector, maybe that pharmacist in government hospitals. So those kind of things are there. If we go a little bit deeper, research and development becomes a very, very, you can say, niche area, where maybe after your B Pharm, you have to appear for GPAT, isn't it? Do your M Pharm specialization, and maybe you would like to go for the PhD also. And the major areas in R&D, correct, which industry looks for is they look for the people who are skilled and competent in the drug discovery, in formulation development, in analytical research and development, drug regulatory affairs, and pharmacovigilance in the last 5 years is an upcoming segment where companies have to report to the authorities about any side effect of the drug which is coming of the marketed products, right? In manufacturing is the backbone of pharma industry. Like in production, in quality assurance, in quality control, isn't it? Process development lab, then handling warehouse. In sales and marketing, it is the second, you can say, most important pillar, because you can do the production anywhere, but you need to have very competent and skillful people to take the product to the doctors and convince the doctor to use those particular products. That is why it has got two streams. One is the sales management streams, and second is the brand management stream. Pharmacist, I'm sure you are aware about this. Nowadays, any pharmacy, good pharmacy store, they need to keep the person who is having a qualified pharmacy degree to support him as an evidence. So hospital pharmacy, clinical pharmacy, community pharmacy, these are the upcoming field now. In the corporate, isn't it? Corporate jobs, those people who are very good in understanding strategy, they can enter into human resources, training, supply chain, procurement, These are the few of the department where specialized knowledge of pharmacy is required. Entrepreneurship, I have already shared with you that if you want to start off your own, then pharmacy, this pharmaceuticals is one of the area where government supports a lot many things, right? When you go further, in generally, you see what happened in 21 years back, correct? When I was a student like you, I used to look at my senior with an awe. My seniors are so successful, right? And one day after going out of college, I will also get a job and I also become successful. So success was just like a green tree to me that time. And I was just wondering that when I will get my first job. But as soon as I entered into the job market, I started having my own struggle. Then I realized that this is the green tree, how people see as a success. But the reality is what you know, that we are able to see the success, but we are unable to see the kind of efforts, hard work, rejections a person faces, the kind of discipline he need to bring in, the kind of failures and sacrifices that the person is having, isn't it? The kind of the efforts he has put in. So these are the things, correct, which are more important, which a person has to look at. And you as a student should understand that you will have your own success provided you have put in a lot of hard work. Generally, we say that a mango tree looks good when the mango is there because everybody looks for the fruit, but nobody understands the kind of the work that was done beneath the soil. When the root started searching for the nutrition, root started searching for the water, it has to go deeper and deeper to have a greener tree which gives you the fruit. So success is not what you see. Success is what you are willing to sacrifice for. More the sacrifice you do for yourself, isn't it, more the success you are going to get in your life. And that is why you see that the persistence, the number, people say that 90% I want to get, isn't it? But how many of us are really ready to do the kind of efforts which is required to get 90% marks? That is a big question which we need to ask ourselves, because success is always good to see. But if you want to have success, are you ready to sacrifice your friend time? Are you ready to sacrifice not watching Netflix and start reading the thing which get you good mark? Going further, dear friends, generally we see the success just like which is on the upper part of the slide. You must be seeing a person is pedaling a bicycle, isn't it? And there is a finish line. And we think like that I will complete my pharmacy with very good marks. I will apply for the job. I will get the job. And then I will keep on flourishing in my job. A very simple and very logical plan, isn't it? But you see in the second of the slide, this is the reality, my dear friends. Because journey to success is never linear. You will have your own struggle, isn't it? You will have your own disappointments, isn't it? You will have your own doubts in your life. But whatever be the situation, if you want to reach to the finish line, you need to keep on walking. Do not get resentment and do not get disheartened by the early failures. Because there is a very famous saying, I'm sure you must be aware about that. The difference between a winner and loser is that how fast a person gets up after falling. And it is one more time the winner gets up than a failure person in his life. If you are getting down and you feel like that you cannot get up, then you have lost the battle. But after falling down, if you decide to get up, then you are a winner. And you see, there is a lot of similarity between cycling and getting success in life. In both the cases, you will be able to balance the cycle as long as you are pedaling. जब तक आप अपने पैडल कर रहे हैं, साइकिल में, तब तक आप कभी गिरेंगे नहीं, isn't it? The day you stop pedaling, you start falling down from the bicycle. Likewise, those people who keep on making efforts despite all the odds, success is going to come to them. Hope you are with me, my dear friends. Vivek, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please continue, sir.
Right, and this is the thing, correct? When we are moving from the campus to corporate, the first job, I'm sure that you are able to see the smile on this character, that where he is having his degree and his smile says that he is amongst the topper, right? But he realizes as soon as he enters into the job market, it reminds me of a movie, Three Idiots. I'm sure that all of you have watched Three Idiots, isn't it? Where that what was his name? That Ranchod Das Chachad, right? That a very, very similar name, correct, which we get in Gujarat. And his friend says, Rancho was right when he said, pursue excellence and success will follow you pants down. Never ever follow success. Always follow the excellence. Automatically the success will come. And for this, there is a law of intangibles, right? The meaning of tangible is that anything which you can count, and intangible means anything which you cannot count. Now let us see that what are the tangibles which we get in our life, the things which can be counted. Excellent grades can be counted or not, because you see that 70%, 80%, 90% you can always count, correct? Good job, you can always count with the salary. Big house, correct, you can count, isn't it? Swanky car, you can count. Status in the society, you can count. Number of vacations you want to have, isn't it? That you can count. Your bank balance, you can count, isn't it? But if you run behind the tangibles, you will not get anything, right? Now, intangibles, what are the intangibles in our life? The things which we cannot count. Can you count the positive attitude? Can you count the communication skill? Can you count the good habits? Can you count the continuous education, your curiosity level? Can you count your networking? Can you count planning and preparation? And can you count confidence? The thing which you cannot count in your life, but if you pursue them, so automatically you start getting tangibles in your life. That is why it is said, if you follow the intangibles, tangibles will automatically follow you. If you are working on your communication skill, if you are working on your attitude, if you are developing good habits, if you are reading beyond your academic education, like personality development, if you believe in networking, correct, if you plan and prepare and you are confident, isn't it? All these things will lead to achieving the excellent grades, will lead to good jobs. Ultimately, you will have a better house, you will have a better car, you will have a status in the society. With additional money, you can take your families to exotic places and your bank balance will keep on increasing. And that is the reason we need to actually look the intangibles in our life. It is just like that, the example of the tree which we have seen sometime back in the previous slide, that if your foundation is stronger, you will get the better things in your life. And you see, this attitude, communication habits, people are unable to see because it is beneath the soil, and tangibles are the fruits and the tree which is above the soil. Now going further, what we learn in college, isn't it? We learn a lot of theory, that is very good, isn't it? We test our memories, isn't it? Because in test, what happens? The question comes and based upon your memory, you reproduce the answers there, correct? In college, our writing skill is honed. We learn the subject in isolation. Like for example, you will be learning pharmacology in isolation, isn't it? Chemistry of natural products in isolation. maybe the jurisprudence in isolation, correct? Pharmaceutical chemistry in isolation, correct? You are very cautious and risk averse. In colleges, we do not teach our people to take risk, isn't it? We say, see, to pass the examination, you need 50% mark, and there are some 5 units are there. Let us prepare 3 units only because I don't want to top, but I want to pass the examination. This kind of attitude is generally known as your cautious or the risk averse attitude. Correct. We learn the things in college to do in a particular way. There are processes which are there, and it kills our creativity. And we focus only on the hard skills, the technical knowledge. But you see, what the industry wants, industry needs that the person whom they are hiring should have practical and application oriented knowledge. They are not bothered about that how much theory you know. They know, does your theory help them to solve a problem? They not only require hard skill, but they also require soft skill. Means whether the person is able to work in teams or not. Can he become friend with others? Can he extract the best of the ability of others? Correct. They also want to understand if 5 job has been given to you in the profession, are you able to prioritize that which needs to be done first, which needs to be done second, which needs to be done third? They also want that how proactive you are, means how good you are in planning things. They want to see how your presentation skills are. You may be having excellent idea to change the world, but do you know that how to present that idea so that you can influence people and they start believing in your idea? They want to see that how well you connect with others, how you communicate, how you convince them, what kind of creativity you have. Are you a part of a problem or are you a part of solution? So what kind of problem solving skills you have? Are you ready to update yourself with the current technology which is happening? In fact, I want to give an example which we have seen in the last year. Last year, as you all are aware, dear friends, that because of this pandemic times, our office and everything were closed because of the lockdown, isn't it? All the corporates, I'm sure that your university also, correct, have taken all the classes online. So how fast we are moving from one thing to the another thing. Zoom was and Google Hangout was there for last 5 years, isn't it? But people, they are not using it. But in last 6 to 8 months, you see that even class 1 student is attending the webinar for his studies. What a great kind of learnability and the adaptability has been shown. And that is what industry looks for, that how fast you are able to change as per the need. And last but not the least, they want the person whom they are hiring should have a pleasant personality. Means people should love to interact with you. So if you look into both the part in this slide, that what we learn in college and what the industry needs, it automatically tells you that what is the gap which is there. And you will realize that the gap is mainly in the soft skill areas, because hard skills are generally being taught in the colleges. And that is why they tell that if you want to increase your effectiveness, correct, you need to learn the concept. This concept you will come to understand fully in the next 1 or 2 slides. There are 2 things are there. One is known as your concern. Now, meaning of concern is anything which affects you in life, but you do not have any control over it. So concern word is clear. Concern means anything which affects you, but you do not have any control over it. And influence word means anything which affects you and you also have control over it. Let me give an example for this. petrol prices are going high right nowadays, correct? So rising petrol prices is a concern or an influence? Obviously, rising prices of petrol is a concern because it affects you, but you do not have any control over it. Correct? Right or wrong?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Correct. And influence means anything which is in your control. So I have got now two options in front of me. Correct. If I focus on this circle of concern, what will be my actions? My action will be that I will be criticizing government. Correct. I will be talking in my circle that this government is bad. Right. When I am putting my entire thought process in my circle of concern, then what is happening to my circle of influence here? You see, it is getting smaller and smaller, and outcome is what? That I am not taking any action. Now, what is in my circle of influence? Correct. I can always see whether my bike or my car is serviced properly or not. Because if it is serviced properly, it will run better in the same amount of fuel. Number two, I can check whether my car or bike is having enough air in the tire. Because if there is lesser air, it will take engine to put more pressure and it will consume more fuel, right? So keeping the air pressure proper in my car or bike is in my control. Number third, when I'm going to market, I can plan my trip to the market in such a manner that I complete my most of the job. Like for example, if I am going to college on my bike, right? I'm asking my mother also that time, mother, while coming back, do you want me to purchase something from the market? Isn't it? So you're planning your trip in a manner that only one time you are going out, and after coming back from college, you are purchasing the household things also. So what is happening? You need not do two trips for two different things. Two different things are being covered in one trip only. Number four, are you able to find out a shortcut to your college? So those things are in your influence. And once you start, or maybe that I am going to college, I'm going alone. Can I bike pool or can I do the carpooling? So that in one car or one bike, more than one student can go by having a proper social distancing, obviously, right? And the petrol can be saved. Now, when you're focusing upon your circle of influence, you see here what is happening. When you start putting your energy and the thought process in the circle of influence, automatically you see the circle of influence is increasing or not. When it is increasing, automatically the circle of concern is constant, isn't it? And the distance between this circle of influence and circle of concern is known as your dissatisfaction. Higher the distance between circle of influence and circle of concern, more dissatisfied the person is. Lesser the distance between these two, more satisfied the person is. So now the situation is same. Rising price of petrol, but the way you think and put your energy decides your own effectiveness. And that is why you see the proactive people always focus upon the circle of influence, means the things which they can control. They never put their focus on the point which they cannot control. Because once they start putting their energy in circle of concern, negative energy will reduce your circle of concern and positive energy increase your circle of influence. Going forward, like for example, you are a student, isn't it? And you see the economic condition, family expectation, lack of jobs, other people more qualified than you, opinion of others about you. All these things are what? They are the concern, isn't it? They affect you, but you do not have any control over it. So if you focus upon this area, automatically your circle of influence will reduce here. A lot of dissatisfaction will be there. But when you look into this part of circle, what is your influence area? How do you spend your free time? Whenever you are getting free time, are you enrolling yourself in any personality development course? Are you spending that time in acquiring some new technological skills? Correct. Are you keeping your commitments with others properly or not? Correct. Who you spend time with? Are you spending time with people who are more successful than you? Or are you spending your time with people who are less successful than you? Because if you make a friend circle with people who are better than you, over a period of time, you learn new things. But if you surround yourself with people who are lesser than you start feeling like that you are better, but actually you are not. And your learning stops there. Correct. What kind of transferable skills you are getting? If you start spending time in your circle of influence, automatically are you seeing that your positive energy is increasing. So as a student, isn't it? I want you to write down one question. And that question is, how do I spend my free time? First question, what you have to ask yourself, how do I spend my free time? And second question you have to ask, how should I better utilize my free time so that I can prepare myself for the real world? In fact, at this moment, I want to give one personal example to all of you. You see that if you look at me, I come from a vernacular medium during my school days, isn't it? And you can say that it was a pure Hindi medium kind of a school, right? When I came to pharmacy college in Sagar University, correct, every course was in English, correct? So I struggled a bit. So I had two options in front of me. Either I continuously suffer because of my lack of language skills, or second option was that I can keep on improving my language skill, right? Second option was difficult one because it required a lot of efforts in the sense that whatever I was reading, I have to keep a dictionary with me. I have to read English newspaper. I have to talk in whatever be the broken English I was knowing that time with my all friends who were coming from the convent schools, or doing the conversation in English with the teachers. Initially, it was very difficult, because I was not getting the words to speak in English. And many times it used to happen that when I was doing the conversation, I was at the loss of words. And that is the time it was very humiliating. But that time I thought, if I do not practice the language skill right now, I cannot improve my skills. Likewise, dear friend, I started putting the focus on basically what was in my influence. And over a period of time, I started getting good command over language and I started expressing myself. Many times with all of us, I do not know whether it is a reality for you or not. During the college times, we do not give importance to the language skills. But mind you, my dear friend, once you're entering in the corporate or for any kind of interview, the first and the foremost thing which will be a success factor or a failure factor will be the language. That how good are you in expressing yourself? Hope you are with me, my dear friends.
Yes, sir.
Going forward, isn't it? Always remember that you are a brand, so you need to cultivate a brand around you. How many of you are aware? What is this? Can you just type in your chat window that what you are seeing this? Correct. And do you know that what is this sign? Which brand this is? Vivek, can you read this Facebook comments if people are able to see it, right?
They have written shoe.
True. And for this one?
Nike.
Okay, good. What is this, dear students? Vada pav.
Yes.
Correct. And what is this?
MACD.
Okay. What about this?
With Microsoft.
Correct. And what is this? A cold drink?
Coca-Cola.
And this is what is the Pepsi. Very nice. Correct. Now, point which I wanted to make over here, and this is the baby food, right? This is the baby food, correct? And what is this sign for?
Nestle.
Nestle, isn't it? Now, please try to understand. There is always one product, and second one is the brand, isn't it? Now, my question is that would you like to be a run-of-the-mill kind of a student, or you would like to have a brand around you? Like, for example, I'm taking the name impromptu. Like, for example, do you want to be known as that he was one of the student in my class, or would you like to be remembered as that Shyam Sundar was the student of my class who was very proactive and he did all his assignment and he got good grades in the class? One of the student means out of 150 students, you are one among them. There is no identity around you. But once you are being said, topper of the class, the person who fulfills all his assignments, isn't it? And the name of yours is associated with some good habits, you automatically become brand. Because brands in the world are known for 6 aspects. Brands solve the problem for us. Like, for example, if you have to clean your ear, correct, what kind of product you will purchase?
Earbud.
Earbud. And if I say which kind of earbud? There are so many, you can say, earbud are available in the market.
It's difficult to recognize anyone.
Okay. J&J?
Right, Johnson & Johnson.
Johnson, right? Because it has become so relevant because we think that anything which is going inside the ear, our ear, isn't it? It has to be sterilized properly, correct? It has to be having a proper depth, so it should not, you can say, hurt the eardrum. So any brand solves the problem, isn't it? Any brand which is being used, it has to be inspirational. Have you ever thought about that? Why for the brand advertisement, correct, they take very popular actors. Like, for example, Amitabh Bachchan comes in the advertisement of so many brands, isn't it? Because Amitabh Bachchan's personality is associated with trust. Amitabh Bachchan is an icon, not only, correct, to my grandfather's generation, my father's generation, my generation, even my kids also recognize Amitabh Bachchan, isn't it? So very inspirational. Brands needs to be sustainable, correct? They should be appealing also, and they should have some kind of uniqueness and credibility. It should not be like that it is a common kind of a thing, correct? And the brand should be consistent. Now, all this property of a brand has to be in us to become a personal brand. And how our personal brand is going to be assessed? How we can be unique? How can we be solution provider? We can be unique that what the other person sees in me means visually how I look. Correct. What the other person hears me means how do I communicate? And what person he observes in me means how I come across with the people. And nowadays, people know us through the digital footprint also. Like how my Facebook account has been created, what kind of the post I am putting there. In WhatsApp, what kind of the messages I am forwarding to people, what kind of message I am writing there. In LinkedIn, how my profile looks like. So that digital footprint also makes a part of our personality. And that is why it is said, visual cues comes from what you are wearing, what kind of the posture you keep, how your hairstyle is, correct? How you smile when you meet people. Are you making eye contact with them properly? See, these are the very finer aspects of personality, but it plays a very important role in striking a rapport with someone. And that is why it is said that as you prepare yourself for a job or going into the job market, when you're going for interview to take a job, always focus upon your grooming, the kind of clothes you wear, the kind of shoes you wear. And suppose the interview you are going and it requires to wear a tie, what kind of tie you are wearing, what kind of belt here, how you keep the hygiene of your face, mouth, nails, hand, correct? And what kind of the etiquettes you have. The similar is not only for males, but it is also for females. Right? When you're talking to someone, what kind of tone you have, what kind of the speed of words you use, how is your accent? Because please remember, nowadays, when you're speaking in any language, we all come from different parts of the country, and the way we speak English actually tells us that which part of the country we belong to. Like for example, if somebody is coming from Punjab, and please don't take it to the heart because this I'm just giving an example, right? For the sake of making you understand, right? For him, when he's saying that which school do you go, he will say which school do you go, isn't it? For them, school is school, correct? Anybody who is coming from MP, UP and Bihar, this part of the country, isn't it? Generally, they speak English as per their mother tongue. Like they may say, how are you is a simple way of saying, but he may say, how are you? Because he's stretching the words. So when we are speaking the language, we need to take care of our accent, tone and speed also. We need to be very articulative when we are talking to someone. When we are going for a job, we need not agree with everything what the other person is saying. We need to be very assertive. We need to be put forward our own needs. Correct? And dear friends, as a student, also remember, when you are talking with someone, the topic of conversation which you use actually talks about your intellectual level. It talks about your awareness level. Otherwise, what happens? Among friends, the common topic of chatting or the discussion is movies, sports, isn't it? But when you're going for a professional thing, are you able to pick up the topic from business? Are you able to pick up the topic from economy? Are you able to pick up the topic from the social issues? Because when you pick up this kind of topic, it talks about that how much information you have and how much observant you are. And when you are talking on these topics with someone, actually you are creating a very serious image about yourself. Communication part we have already looked upon, and always remember that three types of major communications are there: verbal, non-verbal, and the paralinguistic. And always remember that people do not focus on what you say. They always focus upon how do you say it. And that is why 55% of a success of communication depends upon your body language. 38% of effectiveness of your communication depends upon your voice. So almost out of 100% effectiveness of your communication, 93% depends upon your body language and in your voice. So I'm sure that now you're understanding that what is the importance of non-verbal and the paralinguistic part. 7% success of the communication depends upon the kind of the words which you use. In fact, I still not remember that what my professor have taught me 20 years ago, but I still remember how they made me feel in their classes. Isn't it? I'm still able to remember the way they have spoken to me. I may have forgotten what they have spoken to me, but I still remember the way they have spoken to me, because that time their body language and their voice had given me so much of comfort. And you see that as a student, correct, please become serious in your communication, because when you are communicating, it has to have a structure. Like whenever you are communicating with someone, it is creating your image. So always think before communicating and ask these questions to yourself, that why I am communicating, what I am communicating, when I am communicating, where I am communicating, who I am communicating with, and how I am communicating. If you are able to take care of these 6 basic principles of communication, you will never go wrong in your life, and you will be able to put forth your thought process and influence the other person the way you want it to influence. Like for example, why I am communicating? I am communicating to make students to get ready for the job market. What I am communicating? I am communicating that how the students can create a brand of their own. When I am communicating on a day that is Saturday, where I am free and the students are relatively free, so that they can give me time. Where I am communicating through the webinar, that is more of a medium where physically I am not present. So I have to create slides in such a manner so that people can feel my presence there. Who I am communicating with? I am communicating with the students. And how I am communicating? I am communicating in a manner which they understand. And the behavioral clues, this we have already touched upon. Always remember that you should have a unique blend of social skills, and whatever promise you are making, isn't it? This needs to be fulfilled. Because if you promise something and you do not deliver, right, people start losing trust on you. And remember, trust is the foundation of any relationship, whether it is a professional relationship or the personal relationship. Please mind that what kind of commitment you are keeping. Like for example, your professor has given you some task to complete and submit it by tomorrow afternoon. You all have agreed. But if you are not submitting the assignment on time, you are losing the trust of your professor. Correct? Digital footprints. Your presence in the social medium is very important. Stop putting the picture of hero, heroine, isn't it? And all those forwarded message, isn't it? Start writing blogs, isn't it? Anything which interests you, isn't it? Any subject of your choice, right? Maybe if you have read a good article in the newspaper, what is your understanding about that article? You start writing it. So over a period of time, your persona is getting developed for the digital marketplace, right? And always use the effective use of virtual meeting platforms and the webinars. In fact, you guys are very lucky that you can learn whatever you want to learn by sitting at your home. In our times, we were not this lucky, because for everything, we have to pay something, right? But in this era of digital age, where Google, all the study material, whatever you want is available on internet. So on a pretense of money and dedicating your time, you can learn any skill, whatever you want. So this is what is the basic thing, correct, which I wanted to discuss with you. And in a nutshell, if we go, right, my suggestion to the entire students will be that become industry ready, correct, by acquiring the communication skill first of all. Build your CV in a manner where you should be able to highlight the unique skills which you have, isn't it? In your colleges, get relevant experience of team building by becoming part of different kind of societies. I'm sure that Parul University must be having various societies like cultural society, sports society. So in those kind of things where your leadership skills can be developed, correct, you should become a part of it, correct? Improve your language aspect. Start building your network, and immediate network you can have with your seniors who are still in the job, so that you will be networking with them, correct? Always dream big, because there is nothing which you cannot achieve. You can always achieve anything in life, correct? Work on your confidence, and confidence generally comes that more information you have, more confident you are. So in any area of your life you want to venture in, do a preparation by taking information about that area, correct? Set small goals for you, isn't it? Maybe that you can set smaller goals like this, that in the next 2 months period of time, I would like to improve my communication skill by reading newspaper on daily basis, isn't it? And then you follow it religiously. And you will see that after 2 months, when you are doing those things, automatically it is bringing change inside you, correct? And cultivate the brand you. Please be careful what you are wearing, what you are speaking, how you are behaving, and what you are posting on the digital media. Take care of these 4 things, your brand will automatically get developed. And last but not the least, always believe in yourself, because the first secret of success is believing in yourself. Never ever lose confidence in you, because you are unique. You have got all the abilities. And in fact, if you are not having the abilities can be nurtured. Abilities can be acquired. So believe in yourself that you can do that. And it is said, wishing may not get you the things which you want, but the doing can always get you the things what you want. Keep on making efforts, correct? And when your passion and purpose are greater than your fears and excuses, you will automatically find a way in your life. Don't worry about jobs will come to you, but ask a question: are you ready, or are you prepared to take up the job? Isn't it? And whenever you are in a self-improvement plan, never ever give excuses, because people have not grown by giving excuses. People have grown by doing the things in their life, right? So this is the last part. Always remember, as you sow, so shall you reap. Jaisa boenge, waisa kaatenge. During your college days, if you are spending time in your own development, you will reap a lot of success in terms of your dream job, correct? Always take 100% responsibility of yours, because generally in India, we say, whatever happens, correct, there is a hand of a foreign country there, ठीक है? ऐसे हमारे यहाँ पे क्या होता है कि हम क्या बोलते हैं, कुछ भी नुकसान हुआ गवर्नमेंट की गलती है, नंबर कम आए टीचर ने पढ़ाया नहीं हमको, isn't it? We put the blame always on others. We do not take the responsibility on us, isn't it? Please take 100% responsibility of yourself, because Whether you are successful or unsuccessful, only one person is responsible for that. That is you. Never give excuse in your life. If the number has come lesser, it is you who are responsible. If the number has come good, it is you are responsible. Work on your soft skills. Remember the law of intangibles. Inculcate reading habit, not the course books only, but apart from that, some good books as well. Surround yourself people who are better than you. Be curious. We are in the best of the times where technology is expanding so fast that every 8 months the technology is changing. It's the best times to live in. Always be curious and keep on learning. The last quote I would like to end the things. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. Because past you cannot change. Future you are not aware about. But you can always do justice with your present. So what you are starting today matters a lot rather than lingering in the past and becoming anxious about the future. With these words, dear friend, it holds true for starting anything new which you have not done till now. Thank you very much. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you very much, sir. And it was very interesting. And when we get past this 1 hour mark, it is just appearing that we have started right now. It was so interesting. Thank you very much for enlightening us with examples. You have done your topic in a very comprehensive manner with relevant examples, and this makes our understanding process very easy actually. And it's now question answer time. So we request the questions if anybody has. Yes, from the students or from the faculty members also. If somebody wish to ask question, then he can ask. Okay, sir. One question I have received from one of the student, and he asked, yes, if I know that what I have to prepare for, then from where I should start?
Okay. Starting requires only the first thing, that overcome your doubt and whatever you get for the preparation, isn't it? Can his question be a little bit more clarified, Vivek? Because he said that I know that what to prepare, where should I start? Right?
Yeah.
That was the question?
Yeah, right. Sir.
When you know that what to prepare for, start preparation.
He wants to know that if he has to improve the communication and everything, so which is the first factor he should work upon?
Okay, lovely question. If you want to improve your communication, please understand one thing, my dear friend, the person whosoever has asked the question. We learn communication by 3 things: listening, reading, and speaking. Correct. So if you want to improve your English communication, start listening to the English news channel for 15 minutes. So that you will start getting, your ear will start getting accustomed to the English words. Number 2, daily 15 minutes, start reading English newspaper. Right. And among your friend circle, you create a kind of a club where you should say that for the next 1 hour, we are going to speak in English only, and whosoever speaks in any other language will be fined for 10 rupees. So when these 3 things are happening simultaneously, listening, reading, and speaking, automatically you will get a command over language. Hope this suffices the query of the student.
Yes, sir. Any other questions? So, sir, it seems that you have covered the topic thoroughly and in a very comprehensive manner. So, nobody is left up with questions as such. Sir, this marks the end of our webinar. And anything you want to add up, sir, before I wrap up?
I enjoyed sharing my thoughts. I hope that it was quite fruitful for the students who are present there. And I can understand that it is lunch time, so तो चूहे भी कूदने लगे होंगे अभी पेट में सबके.
No, sir. We are done with the lunch, and sir, thank you very much. First, for the coming onto the Parul University platform, and let me share with everyone that the moment I approached sir to invite him for the webinar on this platform, he readily accepted my proposal, and he was very keenly interested to talk to the graduate students. And I hope that our students, they have learned a lot and they have enjoyed every bit of this webinar. And this will be a milestone in their life if they become ready for the upcoming challenges which they have to face once they enter into the corporate world. And thank you very much, sir, for sparing your time for us from amongst your busy schedule. And sir, we would like to hear from you again and again. It was so interesting and it was so elaborative that in future also we would like to have on our platforms delivering such good talks, sir, and motivational.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Vivek, for having me here. And I thoroughly enjoyed the interaction, right? And second thing, wishing all the students all the best. And only one message I would like to give to them, that do not get worried about your past and do not be anxious about your future. Do whatever currently you are doing with giving your 100% to it. Life is long, correct? We will keep on getting the new and newer things. And thank you very much for the faculties for sparing their time to listening to the talk as well.
And in fact, sir, it was our, I should say, we are fortunate enough that we have you on this platform. And sir, as a token of appreciation, we would like to present this certificate to you. And since it's a corona pandemic, so we lost the opportunity to interact with you face to face. But still, sir, you have given us time and we present this certificate to you.
I graciously accept this. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for coming. And sir, it was very motivating for the students, not only for the students, but the teachers also, sir. There was a lot of things that we can also inculcate in us from your presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming down over here.
Thanks.
So I will be posting the feedback link on the Facebook page also and WhatsApp group. So from there you can fill up the feedback form and get your certificate of the participation. Thank you.